This year marks the 100th running of the Cox Plate. So LOVERACING.NZ has teamed up with the Moonee Valley Racing Club to celebrate New Zealand's proud history in the race where legends are made.
And Bonecrusher races into equine immortality.
Do those words still give you chills, Frank?
Very much so. Yeah, it was, and they were prophetic words because here we are, 35 years later, still talking about the race. So it was one of those, races that were that came in history partly because of the way it unfolded.
How did that race come to define Bonecrusher?
I think it defined him completely. Even Lance O'Sullivan has been quoted as saying, he thought he had him beaten a couple of times, and it certainly looked that way, especially on the turn. And he said, and Lance's words were, he just wouldn't give in, and that epitomises him. He just won't give in.
He had an incredible career, though. How do you reflect on that?
Oh, he was a marvellous horse. He had not a especially spectacular pedigree. He was not a spectacular looker. He had a plain head, but he was a superb athlete. He was a horse I never had to work hard for that very reason. Just a brilliant athlete and a will to win that was magical.
His name's Bonecrusher. Bonecrusher. He's going for the gap.
How many horses, though, have had songs written about them?
Not many, none that I can recall, that's for sure. But yeah, he's that was a bit of fun, and it helped, I guess, his notoriety a bit too.
Sunline's raced away, and the New Zealand champion mare set up 4 lengths now.
So, Stephen, what was it like to witness such a dominant win in those two races?
Well, yeah, I suppose they were both different. The first one, we didn't know if she could win a Cox Plate. She'd won around Moonee Valley as a 3-year-old filly over the distance, but it's a whole kettle of fish going back the next year against the older weight for age horses.
But Sunline will hold on and win all the way.
The second one, it seemed quite surreal from the 800 metres because she'd just taken off on her own in front.
She's away, Sunline. She leads by 4 lengths. The champion New Zealand mare has raced away in the Cox Plate.
Greg hadn't really asked her to go at that stage, and I was thinking, this is Cox Plate. It's supposed to be hard to win, and she was just sort of treating it like a trial race.
But the champion mare is going to kill them. Back-to-back Cox Plates for the champion mare, Sunline. She's won it by 6 lengths easily.
Because so often these races are won on the line, and she won it on the turn.
Especially the 2001 was a no-pressure event for us to watch. She was coasting home down the straight, and we could just soak that one up and enjoy it.
As she comes back to scale, you've never heard a reception like it. The crowd are really saluting this mighty kiwi mare.
Did you feel like you were representing New Zealand rather than just the stable and the owners?
I think you always are when you're in Australia at the top level, whether it's a Cox Plate or some other big major race in Australia. It's always the Kiwis versus the Aussies. They're on their home turf, so it's great to go and get one of the big spoils away from home.
What's it been like for you and Mum being part of this tour?
Yeah, it's been great. Memories are always good, and those were certainly good memories. And she hasn't got Dad anymore. Talk it over at night time, so that's been great for Mum.
There's Trevor McKee there. He must be just so proud. His mighty mare leading her back down the straight.
I think he probably would have been his normal low-key self and not got too worked up about all these celebrations.
Yeah, he would have probably resented coming, to be fair, but it's all part of it, and we're lucky and appreciative that we can be part of it.
New Zealand has played such an integral part in the history and the heritage of the Cox Plate. It's certainly well over 25% of the horses that have won the Cox Plate have a New Zealand heritage. It's a race that's only won by champions, and champions come from New Zealand.
Tell me about this incredible trophy, because it's very unique, isn't it?
It's a wonderful solid gold trophy. It weighs over 1.6 kilos. It's valued at over $200,000, and it will never be repeated again. And what a great trophy for somebody to win.
Who do you think's name might be on it this year?
Well, I think the New Zealand guys have got a really good chance. I mean, I think the trophy's at a very grave risk of coming over the ditch, as it were, in a more permanent sense.
The Shark's coming for the kill. Tiako Shark right over the top.
When I give you names like Bonecrusher, Sunline, Savabeel, Ocean Park, what do you think? What comes to your mind?
Well, proper champions of their era.
Did you ever dream you'd be even considered among those names?
No, not at all. growing up as a young fella in the South Island, you know, thinking that I'd like to maybe race ride one day, but to be here with a great team of horses that have been, you know, bought and managed by David Ellis, that's the really gratifying part of it, and you know, we're just lucky to be here.
Melody Bell takes a rest here.
She's ultra consistent, races up on the speed, races back in the field, can put her anywhere in the race. Te Shark did a great job for us in last year's edition, running third, and the plan is to try and get him there and go a little bit better in the 100th edition of the race.
It's been a few years for New Zealand. How are you liking our chances this year?
I'm liking our chances. I love Te Shark as a horse. Melody Bell's got the record on the board, so we're in good shape at the moment.
I think they're going to really put us back on the map. We've struggled over the years to compete with Australia. It's got very strong, but yeah, these are good horses, so hopefully they'll bring one back for us.